All right, welcome back to another episode of the Cody Tucker Show. As always, I'm your host, Cody Tucker. Thank you so much for joining in. Let me go ahead and kick things off. Also, be sure to like and subscribe. Tell a friend. Check out the merch store. Got some new merch coming up. Should have the shop connected to the old Instagram page pretty soon, so that's going to be big. Might finally sell a t-shirt. How about that? All right, so I guess I'm going to go ahead and just kick into things. Got quite a bit of stuff to talk about. So, Halloween is over, which somewhat sad time of year. I, myself, massive fan of Halloween, but also the end of Halloween ushers in Thanksgiving and then into Christmas, which this is the prime of the year for me. So with Halloween ending, I saw this the other day, this little post of, I guess somebody in this neighborhood had some pretty extensive Halloween decorations, and a neighbor, maybe even more than one neighbor, was pretty upset to find out that on November 1st, there were still Halloween decorations up. So, look at this. So, these are the notes that were left to this person. I'm going to try to read them real quick because it's probably hard to see. So, it says, Halloween is over. Take everything down, especially the three mannequin spelt wrong, of the stupid Hocus Pocus movie witches. Over the past 2 months, your decorations were creeping spelled wrong, everyone in this neighborhood out. All the so-called, which they did not put the ED, so-called fun is over. Halloween is over. Time to take those horrible decorations down. Angry face. Second note, Halloween is over. Time to take your horrible decorations down, including the 10-foot tall demon in the right side of your yard. That evil piece of garbage is scaring a lot of people in this neighborhood. It's even scarier when it's all lit up. So they did notice that they were spelling win wrong, which is interesting that that's when they decided to, do a little self-spell check. But, I digress. Scarier when it's all lit up. Take your decorations down. Weather, spelled like the, climate version, not the, what's it called? Conjunction? Is weather a conjunction? Or a preposition? Not sure. Either way, down. Whether you like it or not, Halloween is over. Same angry face. So now, I don't know if these were left for the same neighbor, or just the same person being pissed off that there are two neighbors in the neighborhood who are leaving up their Halloween decorations. Let me tell you something. For one, judging by the handwriting, apparently there is a 7-year-old in this neighborhood who is real pissed off that there are Hocus Pocus witches and a 10-foot tall demon statue in their neighborhood. I'll say this. If I were an actual homeowner, I 100% am doing this. A 10-foot tall demon will be in my yard 365 days a year. I'm keeping Halloween decorations up all year. I'll probably take them down for the month of December and switch them with Christmas ones. And then as soon as really December 26th kicks in, back to Halloween decorations. Like, I am also... probably have a pretty good idea of which neighbor it is who wrote this bullshit. I am taking every egg that I own and just peppering this motherfucker's house with these eggs. Like, this son of a bitch has just become... It would now be... If it is just one neighbor, which it kind of looks like this is written to two different people, but let's just say it's one neighbor. If this neighbor had any fucking chutzpah to him, or her, he or she would make this person's life a living hell. Basically, until that person, had either a mental breakdown or just, had a couple of U-Haul trucks sitting out front and their asses are moving cross country. I would make it my life's mission. The pettiness that I have as a decently young man is pretty staggering. It I don't know if there is a thing in this world that gives me more pleasure than getting even. And not even just getting even, because getting even is fucking pointless. You got to get at least a one step up above even. It is, it's the greatest feeling in the world to know that someone is angry for something they shouldn't be angry about. Now, if there was a 10-foot tall statue of, like a penis in the front yard, or if like the demon was standing straight up and then there was like a 10-foot tall demon on its knees in front, giving an old fashioned, then yeah, maybe write a note, maybe check with the HOA. But if it's the day after Halloween and you are just this angry that there are Halloween decorations up, fuck you. Like you're getting it. And I am vandalizing this house so much, which I've done, I'll be honest, a fair amount of vandalism in my life. I've been fired from jobs for vandalism. Now, granted, I've never done anything that was a permanent vandalizing. I've never like broken anything. Like I've never busted out someone's window or some shit like that. These are all like harmless vandalizing. Paintballs mostly. And eggs sometimes, but then I found out that eggs apparently can like strip the paint off a car, so I was like, I probably shouldn't do that. So see, I have a bit of a conscience. But like, putting a scoop of peanut butter under someone's car door handle, always a fun time. Did have a bit of a habit of being, with the boys and getting a slingshot and some paintballs and just peppering people while we're driving down the road. I don't know if it's necessarily my proudest moment, but I am pretty proud of it because it's a blast, and I highly recommend it to anyone who doesn't have shit to do. If you grow up in a city like I did, there's not a whole lot to do except vandalize shit and just get plastered drunk, which definitely check both of those boxes. So, anyways, I'm pulling out the old bag of tricks, and I'm fucking this person's shit up until the next Halloween. And I'm also going into an insane amount of debt just in order to buy even more elaborate Halloween decorations, and I'm leaving them up as long as possible. And I'm smiling, waving at the neighbor every time I see them. Fuck that. Neighbors suck. And I know, according to the old fucking Bible, probably shouldn't have said fucking Bible, but oh well. The king fucking James's Bible. Love thy neighbor. Fuck all of mine. I've never really had a neighbor who wasn't a complete prick, and or meth addict. So, yeah. Anyways, I just thought this was hilarious because I will say, as much as I love Christmas, it does bother me when people leave their Christmas decorations up like too long. But where I differ and where I think I'm a decently okay person is that I would never write a note to someone about anything. Never. Either say that shit to them in person or keep your goddamn mouth shut. That's the rule of thumb. If you would not be willing to say this to this person face to face, you're a bitch. Keep your mouth shut. Now, granted, that mindset has not always worked out for me. I've been kicked in the back of the head real fucking hard before for doing that exact thing. So maybe don't take my advice if we're just being honest. So anyways, there's the first story of the day. Let's move on to a little bit of news, shall we? Oh boy. So, oh my God. I ate some questionable food the other night, and it is leaving its mark. So I don't know if that goddamn flatulation picked up on the old, but if it did, sorry, not sorry. So, Mike Johnson. So I think this is the new Speaker of the House, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm not going to pretend like I am an expert on politics by any means, nor do I really even give a shit. Never voted, probably never will. Might throw in a vote for the old RFK Jr. just for fun, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know anything about him, and I don't care. I mean, it means fucking nothing. So, anyways, Mike Johnson, I believe, is the new Speaker of the House, and if you get into politics, obviously, every time you move up, people are going to start digging in, finding out, is there something in this person's past that is odd, criminal, perverted, disgusting, anything? Well, boy, did Mike Johnson have some skeletons in the old closet. So Mike Johnson admits he and his son monitor each other's porn intake in a resurfaced video. I'm proud to, quote from Speaker of the House, "I'm proud to tell you my son has got a clean slate." Now let me tell you something, Mike Johnson. No, he doesn't. As a former, I should have paid way more attention to this article. I have a tendency to just read headlines and say, well, I've pretty much learned all I need to know. And that really is never the case. If I'm not mistaken, Mike Johnson's son was like young teens. And him and his son, apparently Mike Johnson maybe had a bit of a porn problem, which I don't think exists. But apparently to some people, they think they're watching too much porn. I mean, as long as you're not, jerking off in, as long as you're not at the self-checkout at Target jerking off, you don't really have a problem. I mean, if you're in your house by yourself whacking one out, I mean, even if you did it 10 times a day, who gives a shit? That shit ain't a problem. I mean, out of all the problems a person can have, it's a pretty mild one. Apparently, Mike Johnson thinks porn is evil, and that him and his son have this like app, which is actually a pretty common. It's like one of these like crazy fucking Christian apps where it like restricts you from porn, but it also like notifies another person. It's an accountability, which I think it says on here. Yeah, it's an accountability partner where you like hold each other accountable for like your porn intake, which people do it with alcohol and drugs. Like AA has pretty big part of that is you have a sponsor who you hold each other accountable. All that shit. Porn is not an addiction. It's not a drug. It's fun. It is very fun to watch porn. And, in a lot of ways, I would say more enjoyable than actual intercourse. At least for me. I mean, and I'll go ahead and speak on behalf of the unfortunate, ladies that I've been with, but it couldn't have been that fun for them either. So I don't think that I am not, taking their feelings into consideration here. But it's just easier. It's way easier. You're way less likely to make a bad decision. And, I've definitely been there before where it's like, oh, this is probably going to be the one that ends up killing me. This is going to be the one where I start getting lesions and losing a lot of weight. And hearing Bruce Springsteen music playing in the background. Philadelphia is what I'm referring to in case anyone is lost on that. But, so hard to get an STD from watching porn. Now, granted, I've watched some porn that was... I kind of felt a little icky afterwards. Obviously nothing like illegal or, I mean, actually by most standards, probably not even that crazy. It's just for me, I feel like I'm kind of bland when it comes to stuff like that. Like, not like, strictly, like missionary, keep our eyes closed, like, not like that, but, I'm not fucking giving anybody a rusty hook or something. But you don't know what a rusty hook is when you stick your finger up your ass and then you pull someone's mouth back. So, not doing that. So I think that's probably pretty good. Mike Johnson, on the other hand, there's no telling what that creepy son of a bitch is up to. But the fact that, like, now I can understand a parent wanting to be, like, not wanting their kid to watch porn. Because it is kind of a thing of, like, boy, that's weird. But if you are a parent, your kid's watching porn. Your kid's jerking off to something. You might as well let him watch porn because he'll find something to jerk off to, and the last thing you want is for that to get is for him to start getting turned on by, the mannequins at J.C. Penney. Let him, save it for the privacy of his own bedroom. And really, anytime you put like a bit, some shame into sex, that seems to be when things start to go awry for a lot of people. If you just kind of like leave your kid up to their own devices and not like encourage them, not be like, sending him links. Be like, Jesus, look at the fucking throat skills on this woman. Like, probably don't do that. That could definitely give a bit of a complex. But just pretend like it. Do what all parents should do and pretend like something isn't happening. If you think your kid's on drugs, pretend it isn't happening. If you think your kid's jerking off, pretend he's not doing it. Just pretend like your kid doesn't know what porn is. Don't fucking sit there and like shit on him for watching porn because it's what everyone in the world does. But yeah, definitely don't encourage. I don't know which one would actually be weirder now that I think about it. Like which one I would rather have. A parent who like gets angry and like makes you shameful for watching porn, or one who's like proud of you for watching porn. That's rough. So anyways, this shit is hilarious to me. But not so the parent side of this of like, yeah, like I monitor my kids, porn habits, like weird, but I kind of get it. It's the other 50% of what this is, and that's that his son has to be accountable for his dad, which no child is supposed to be accountable for their parent. That is not how it works. So for his son to be like having to, get an alert on his phone, like, let's see, midgets covered in whipped cream. He's like, God damn, no. Dad, how could you? Like, that's not good. Yeah, Mike Johnson, you have made a mess of your life, man. Oh, well. Anyways, let's just move past this because it's making my fucking skin crawl. Let's see, next. Oh, here we go. Somewhat related. So, artificial insemination tanks were stolen in the County Tyrone, which County Tyrone is already kind of hilarious. And if I were to become a rapper, that is 100% going to be my rap name. Anyways, apparently somebody stole a fuck ton of insemination tanks filled to the brim with bull jizz. And now, I don't want to point fingers, but the last time I went to IHOP, the gravy was a bit tangy. I'm not saying that IHOP gets their gravy from bull semen insemination tanks, but kind of seems that way. So, all in all, just not good. Let's not dwell too much on that because, boy, my stomach is a little tore up right now, and me thinking about covering a fucking chicken fried steak in bull jizz is not going to do me any favors. All right, so next. It's true. People do poop a lot in ride lines at Disneyland and Disney World. As someone who has been to Disney World twice, not bragging, I can vouch. Let me tell you something. Disney World. Now, I've never been to Disneyland because, why the fuck? I mean, Disney World, way fucking bigger and better than Disneyland. Disney World is one thing, like, you won't realize, like, that you don't know about Disney World before you go, is that it is like pretty much every single country has someone in Disney World when you're there. Like, the line in a Disney World is basically like a sample of like, it's like the United Nations. Like there are people holding like Brazilian flags, Japanese flags, like literally carrying flags with like a group of people. It's bizarre. It's like you're at the World Cup. Like you may see someone that looks exactly like you, and you say, "Oh, hey, how are you doing?" And then they will start speaking to you in Swedish, and you're like, "That's not something I'm used to," but that's still kind of cool as shit that like people come from around the world to this little, to the middle of a fucking swamp in what is arguably one of the most dangerous, insane states out of the 50. So, and different people have different customs. There is a group of people who I am not even going to name. Wherever your mind goes right now, that's on you. There is a group of people from pretty much one country who have a real hard time not just dropping trow and shitting in the middle of public. And it's actually not Cajuns, which I know is probably most people's guess. Anyone who's been to New Orleans would know that would be the likely group. No. There's just a different group of people from, let's just go a little further east, who have to be reminded when you're at Disney World, you will see signs that are written in a specific language that you kind of have to be part of that group to understand what the signs are, that are asking you, please don't shit in the line. Like, we have bathrooms for you. Like, now, are they going to be the cleanest of bathrooms? No. But bathrooms nonetheless, and it would just be kind of nice if you wouldn't pull your pants down, squat down, and drop a 3-coil splitter right in the middle of the Pirates of the Caribbean line. Yeah, and look, I mean, you will see every range of person at Disney World. It's the greatest sample size of the world, of like the globe, and all you got to do is just go through the line of, whatever fucking, I just blanked on fucking rides, like Tower of Terror, which actually I don't even think is around anymore, but still, like, you go just through that line, and it is every fucking group of people, which is awesome. Again, I'm not shitting on that. I'm just saying that people do things differently in different parts of the world, and hey, now if I went to your place, I can't tell you not to do that. That'd be fucking crazy of me. But as much of a shithole as Florida is, I mean, you can't be doing that. And they do. Boy, they do. And I mean, I've saw all kinds of scumbag behavior at Disney World. What do you think is the happiest place on earth? You shouldn't be seeing anything like morally questionable. But I also saw somebody in a wheelchair hop out of that wheelchair and switch with the other person in their group. So either I was seeing an actual miracle, or I was seeing some people basically swindle their way into getting through the line faster. Which is good on you. I mean, if there's a hell, you're definitely going, but, if not, then shit, you just got to not wait an extra hour and a half to look at fucking creepy animatronics of all the presidents. Anyways, moving on. All right, man. This is a sad day. So, Omegle has officially shut down. Let me tell you, oh, man. As someone who, in general, pretty weird human being, at least I tend to think so. Omegle is definitely one of those sites that I spend a lot of time on now. Now that Omegle's gone, I don't know where you're gonna be bombarded by penises. I mean, I guess you could, I know you could audition for a movie. apparently, I mean, if you're a woman auditioning for a movie, I guess you're basically in a live action Omegle. But yeah, or if you're playing football at Penn State, I mean, what is it, Sandusky? Not good. Anyways, yeah, I spent a lot of time on Omegle, and actually, it was pretty fun. Like in the, I'm talking like in, like when did that? There was one before Omegle, or maybe I don't know if it was before, but I used it before. Chat roulette, fucking chat roulette. Chat roulette was awesome. Yeah, definitely had to sift through a lot of penises, but every once in a while you see somebody you're like, this is a pretty cool person, and I actually met some people who were like pretty interesting. I remember using Omegle because I read somewhere that like there are people who would go on there who from different countries and like would help you learn. Like let's say you're so like me, American jackass, speaks English decently well, but I really want to learn French. Well, there's going to be people on Omegle who are from France. They also want to like better their English, so you might meet people who you can learn languages from. Whoever wrote that was a goddamn liar. Because I mean, now unless some of the people behind the dicks were fluent, we're also trying to learn a language too, then yeah, maybe so. But boy, it did just turn into a big old penis farm. But again, every once in a while you meet somebody who's actually like kind of cool, and I actually was going to turn that into like a segment of me just for like 15 minutes going on Omegle and seeing what happened. And then I had to kind of work out like whether that was like actually okay. Like, can you record people on Omegle? Guess I don't have to worry about that now because the fucking thing shut down like the day after I thought about doing that. So, anyways, I guess that'll actually do it for the old news stories. Have some videos to watch. Fuck me. What is going on? Alright. R for right. Don't want to put the left one in there. Your goddamn head will explode. Alright. So, let's see what we got for the videos today. First one. Okay, so we got some more. Hold on. Bag it up. So we got somebody riding a bike in the middle of the road, which is always a great idea. And look, I know that, I don't know if this is like in every state, like if every state has the same rules as far as this goes, but as far as I know, if you're riding a bicycle, you have the right of way as the pedestrian or whatever the law is. That law should be changed. If you are in the middle of the road is meant for cars that are going whatever that fucking speed limit is. If you aren't able to keep up, if you're on a road that the speed limit is 60 miles per hour, you better get those fucking legs going. Because unless you're also going 60 miles per hour, you deserve to have a fucking headlight shoved right into your fucking rectum. And it seems to be that that's what happened to this young man. So here we go. Let's look again. Just going down. Yeah. Which it actually, from the angle, it looks like they did kind of try to get around him, which is hilarious because you either do or you don't. So the fact that they even like tried to get around him, but still were like, well, I'm not going to go over all the way. It's amazing. Which they probably were just doing for their dash cam, just to be like, well, look, officer, I did try to go around. Let's see. Let me just try this one more time. And boom. Just, God, the fucking... Oh, so if you've ever had road rash, oh my God. I haven't had that shit since I was like a little kid from riding bikes. It's one of the worst feelings ever. Like whenever you try to put on like if you get road rash on like your legs or like, and you try to put on pants afterwards and it's just pull. That being said, this fucker deserved it. And I know that I guess legally the person riding the car is at fault. They shouldn't be. They should be let go. This son of a bitch on the bike should be locked up. My God, is there nowhere else you can ride a bicycle? except the middle of a road, which it looks to be kind of like a back road, sort of, but like a nice, I mean, not a back road, but like, I mean, he's not on the goddamn, not on like I-95 or anything, but, which would also be no surprise considering how, you know, the fucking audacity of the fucking bicyclist. And I mean, if I could get away with it, like if I knew 100% that I would be able to get away with it, I would smoke every one of these motherfuckers in my little Honda CR8 or whatever the fuck my car is. Yeah, I would clean up. All right, next. All right, so we got a little bit of looks to be a tilt-a-whirl. Nothing wrong ever happens on that except that. Let me tell you something. If you're on one of these, this little son of a bitch for a second. God damn, where am I? Yeah, if you're on one of these, you have to know that it was built by someone who was either 13 years old or a massive methamphetamine addict or a combination of both. Now, if you should know this as just a person who lives. Like, if it's not something that you like, it's not something. It's just that's just a thing that you should like almost inherently learn, or inherently know. So, when you go on one, you have to be under the impression that this thing is probably going to break at some point because somebody was too busy lighting up a spoon and forgot to put a couple lug nuts in the right spot. And look at this. So it's going right here. It starts to break, and everyone dies.
It's okay, honey. Sorry. It's recording. It's alright. It's okay. He just scared you. That's all.
All right, here we go. Welcome back. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I just lost like 30 pounds in about 7 minutes. So that's good news. That'll be my version of Ozempic, is just to eat some questionable food from a taco stand and shit out about, I would say, probably 10 pounds of feces and 20 pounds of things that I hope weren't needed. Guess I'll find out. So, all right. So now, I guess speaking of that, we're going to do a little bit of this or that. So, again, point of the old segment, bring up two things that are pretty heavily debated amongst people. And I'm going to, in real time, decide which one I like better. And you do the same. Whatever one you like. I'll probably start doing a poll on this to see if if I compare with the rest of people. But I forgot to do that for this, so that will not be happening right now. So we're gonna go through this or that with the two, I would say, most popular pizza chains of all time, and that would be Domino's and Pizza Hut. Now, for me, all right, so let's do a little pros and cons here. So Domino's, here, let me remove the Pizza Hut. So for Domino's, pros of Domino's, crust, actually I'm going to go ahead and pull up Pizza Hut too. So the pros of Domino's, crust is much better here than it is here. Domino's crust better than Pizza Hut's crust. Without a doubt. Domino's seasons the crust. Pizza Hut, I don't know if they do, but it sure doesn't seem like they do. Domino's, better selection of toppings. Pizza Hut, toppings are better in general. Domino, a bigger selection of toppings. Domino's delivery. So, okay. That's actually pretty much does it with Domino's. Now, pros of Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut's delivery, much better than Domino's delivery. Pizza Hut's non-pizza, which I don't know if that should be included necessarily, because it is kind of like which one has a better pizza. It's not which one has a better pizza, it's which one is a better place. Pizza Hut has better shit that isn't pizza. Pizza Hut's wings are damn near some of the best wings ever. And their pasta is actually really goddamn good. Now, just to let a little bit of a, pull back the curtain on what kind of a fat fucking slob I used to be. Now, granted, still am, but I mean, it used to be way worse. Used to get hammered quite a bit. Saturday night, blacked out. Sunday, wake up feeling like absolute dog shit. Wake up at about 2 o'clock. Be like, God damn, I need something to eat. Definitely am not driving because, I can't even fucking see straight. I'm ordering pizza. Which one am I ordering? That actually probably is how you know which one's better. Which one would you rather have hungover and or drunk? Because, now granted, neither one of these two fucking places are that good. But if you are drunk and or hammered, and or hungover, boy, it makes a difference. And for me, I always went, no one out pizzas the Hut. I went with Pizza Hut every single time. I mean, now, I guess there were some times where I went with the old Domino's. Boy, I'm having a hard time with left and right here. So Domino's here, Pizza Hut here. Anyways, so Domino's, I definitely went with them a few times, and it was always kind of a letdown. Pizza Hut, I used to wake up, and I would get either that fucking big box thing that has 2 medium pizzas and wings and shit in it and eat damn near the whole thing, or I would get a large stuffed crust pizza. Again, another thing that Domino's fucks up on. As far as I know, they don't have a stuffed crust. Pizza Hut does. The more cheese you can add, the better. Like a little mouse. And, so give me 3 feet of mozzarella sticks melted into a fucking crust of a pizza. Yeah, taking it. Pizza Hut has that. And I used to get the large stuffed crust pepperoni and jalapeno pizza. Cover that sumbitch in ranch, which I know is like sacrilege. And I really only do that if it's pepperoni and jalapeno because that shit just fucking tastes amazing. I would eat that and also eat a fucking chicken Alfredo bowl. Which, I don't know what the calories on that is, but if I had to guess, probably about 7,000 calories that I'm knocking out in about 15 minutes. So thank God I don't do that anymore. And that's why I'm, so skinny. So, yeah. I mean, I think I settled this one a little quicker than I thought I would. I actually thought Domino's was going to give, I thought Domino's might give Pizza Hut a bit of a run for its money. It didn't. But that kind of shows people, I guess, the way in which my mind works. Because I do like to debate things in my head quite a bit, and that's basically the whole point of this, is like vocalizing my, debate. So, yeah. No one out pizzas the Hut. Pizza Hut wins, without a doubt. Oh, and the Pizza Hut buffet, which they just brought back, I think, not that long ago. Pizza Hut buffet kicks. I mean, Domino's doesn't have that. Every time you go into a Domino's, it feels like you're not supposed to be inside of the Domino's. Like, every time I've gone and, like, gotten just a pickup from Domino's, I'm like, am I allowed to be in here? Because no one else is in here. It's me and, like, 3 other, like, 15-year-olds that are working there who I don't think have a clue what's going on. I've never been inside a Domino's and there was another person inside of the Domino's. Pizza Hut, yeah, they got a fucking buffet. They have, like... They used to have awesome arcade games. God, Pizza Hut was fucking amazing. Yeah, Pizza Hut. Night and day. Take this off. Pizza Hut. You win, buddy. Make you a little bigger. Yep. Pizza Hut wins by a long shot. I mean, it's not even fucking close. So that'll do that. So, there it is. That's the best pizza chain in the fucking world. If you disagree, leave a comment. If you agree, leave a comment. Let me know. Because I am actually kind of curious of, like, which one is bigger. Like, more, I'll probably just go ahead and make the poll anyways, because why not? But, yeah, Pizza Hut's so much fucking better. So, anyways, that'll do that. And let's move on to a little bit of the old Mount Rushmore. All right. So, now we're going to do the My Mount Rushmore segment of the old show. So, I have been... For the past couple of weeks, I'd say, maybe a week or two, I like re-subscribed to Disney Plus. And I was like, you know what? I want to, because I'm a bit on the spectrum. And I like to do things like that I think is fun to do, but I'm sure a lot of people probably are like, Jesus Christ, this motherfucker needs to be locked away. But I was like, you know what? I would like to go through the history of Disney and watch every one of their animated films from the first till the most recent. And, like, watch the progression over time of, like, the animation, the modernization of it. Like, yeah. And, like, the time of Walt Disney being alive. Which, if you don't know, Walt Disney died during the making of the Jungle Book. So, pretty much, Jungle Book back. Under the direct supervision of Walt Disney, Jungle Book forward, not. I mean, there was like a little bit of time, I think Roy Disney, his brother, was doing a lot of it. And then, of course, like Michael Eisner comes in. Michael Eisner makes like what is definitely like the peak of Disney. And so what I'm going to do is, so I went through all of them and I watched every one of them, including the Pixar movies, which that's going to be separate from this. I am going to do my Mount Rushmore of the 4 best Disney animated films, not including Pixar. This is just the actual like 2D animation films. So number 1, hands down, and I know Mount Rushmore is not necessarily in order. I might actually do these in order. Number 1, without a doubt, The Lion King. Lion King would be in my top 10 just greatest movies of all time. Not even animated or Disney, whatever. Like, Lion King is one of the most perfect movies ever made. The fucking, the music, Disney already fucking amps it up with the music, but again, no Disney movie has the music goddamn, Elton John and Hans Zimmer, like two of the greatest writers of all time. As far as like actually writing music, obviously Elton John didn't write lyrics and neither did Hans Zimmer, but like actual creating music, orchestrating music, they're the two best. Elton John's the best pop version, and Hans Zimmer might be the greatest composer of all time, even over like Beethoven, Mozart, Bach, like Chopin, like any of those. Like Hans Zimmer might be the greatest composer of all time. And then you have the voice acting. Lion King is fucking James Earl Jones, Matthew Broderick, Whoopi Goldberg, Jeremy Irons, which Jeremy Irons' voice is the greatest villain voice of all time. Who else? Cheech Marin, Rowan Atkinson, Nathan Lane. That's about all I can really think of. I feel like there's more. Oh, and like little kid Simba is Jonathan Taylor Thomas. Like start to finish, and has what is arguably like one of the most intense 10 minutes in movie history. The fucking wildebeest chase is still to this day one of the most intense movie scenes of all time, and then followed by what is one of the saddest movie scenes of all time. So I will say that I bitched out when I was rewatching it this time and skipped through the like, Dad, we gotta go, wake up. I was like, I can't handle this shit right now, no way. So did skip through that, but yeah, Lion King number 1. Second movie on the Mount Rushmore. Fast forward 4 years, I think. Hercules. Now, okay, so to echo the Lion King thing, they need to stop doing the goddamn live action ones. They are not good. That Lion King live action one is one of the... For Lion King, original, 1994 Lion King, to have this such a high peak, and then for the live action one to have such a low drop off. It is there's never, I don't think, ever been a movie where the remake was that much worse than the original. No way. And obviously Lion King is just fucking Hamlet with goddamn lions, but like, you can't do live action with animals and make it interesting. Can't fucking happen, because animals don't have goddamn human emotions. They aren't human. Lions don't have... Like, how does a lion show that it thinks something is funny? Never seen a lion laugh before. Just one of those things. I also never seen them plot the murder of their own brother. But, there's that. That being said, they should do a Hercules one, because they are fucking people. And, yeah, would work better. Hercules, amazing. Fucking Rip Torn... James Woods, Bobcat Goldthwait, heavy hitters that are in Hercules. Goddamn, when you're going from James Earl Jones and Matthew Broderick, whatever. Hercules is, which already a big fan of Greek mythology, and Hades is, like, to me, still like probably one of the coolest villains in movie history. Hercules, and then goddamn Michael Bolton going the distance. If you got Michael Bolton doing your songs, you should be on every fucking Mount Rushmore. So Hercules with the second one. Third one, Jungle Book. Now, hey, when you watch Jungle Book now, there's some questionable shit in it. And even Disney Plus does that bullshit where it's like, makes you watch this like 15-second thing of like, we understand that this is it's a depiction that is unfavorable, and whatever. It goes through that bullshit where they're trying to cover their asses. But instead of removing it, we would like to go and play its content in its entirety, in its original form, to spark a conversation. Yeah, it ain't sparking a fucking conversation. It just makes you feel like, goddamn, Disney are a bunch of bitches. Now, I will say some of these Disney movies, when I was rewatching, I'm like, oh boy. There's some where it's like, okay, this probably needs a bit of a heads up for the 2023 viewer. But Jungle Book has one, I'm like, what the fuck is in Jungle Book that is so bad? And then they get to the scene with King Louie. You're like, Now, I don't know if it's Disney being racist by having all of the orangutans and monkeys be African American voice actors, like Louis Prima, and which I don't know, is Louis Prima black or Italian or both? That's a tough one. But I know all the other ones are. They are straight up 1960s African American voices for sure. Now I don't know if that's Disney being racist, or is it racist to make that connection? Kind of a bit of a chicken and the egg situation here. Because, like, if I'm drawing the conclusion, and that wasn't their intention at all, no one thought that then, and I'm drawing the conclusion, doesn't that make me racist? Because otherwise, But I think Disney, given their track record, they probably knew what they were doing. Because, like, Planet of the Apes, Tim Burton Planet of the Apes, it's like Michael Clark Duncan as a gorilla, which, boy, when you watch that, like, and I'm not saying that Tim Burton was like, it has to be him. But, yeah, Michael Clark Duncan is a large man who was an amazing actor with, like, goddamn, one of the coolest voices ever. So, like, I can kind of understand, like, if you're having, like, a powerful character in a movie, shit, you would want Michael Clark Duncan. But, it doesn't look good. But does it look bad, too, to be like, well, he can't do that because of the... I don't know, man. I'm too fucking stupid to be able to... I shouldn't have even brought this up at all. I'm going to switch gears. So, anyways, Jungle Book's the third one. And then fourth one's going to be... God damn it. Another one that really did not age too well. Peter Pan. Boy, when I was rewatching, I was like, God damn, I do fucking love this movie. But, then again, once they get to the Native American scene, you're like, God damn, they literally could not have made these motherfuckers a brighter tone of red. Like, they are like glowing red the entire time. You're like, oh, what the fuck? You could have just made them like kind of brownish, like a little brownish red, like a clay color. Like, holy fuck, you have them like lit up like an LED. Like they all look like fucking stoplights. Like, this isn't good. And like how they talk, I mean, you're like, holy shit. Like the first word that a Native American says is how. You're like, oh no, why'd you, come on. But then again, that movie was made in like 1953 or 55, something like that. I mean, I'm not saying it's an excuse, but holy shit, I mean, that's a rough one when I was watching Peter Pan. But goddamn, the movie's amazing. Captain Hook, fucking, I know I sound like a real fucking nerd right now, like losing my shit over Disney movies, but I fucking love Disney movies. And I try to keep, the child in me, like I try to hold on to that a little bit. And Disney Plus, like when that came out, I was like, holy fuck, this is going to do it, because I get to rewatch all these movies that I loved as a kid. It does hit you with that nostalgia shit, and yeah, makes you feel good. Nostalgia is a drug, 100%. Like, it makes you feel like, yeah. So I don't know. I know I seem like a fucking dweeb, but oh well. So anyways. So that'll do the old Mount Rushmore. I need to fucking take a break, because I feel like I am really, like, I think I'm like self-destructing on this thing. Like, I have sabotaged whatever, little bit of a come up I've had in this old podcast, I think single-handedly by this segment. So I think we should all probably take a break, and we'll just pretend like this part didn't happen, and I'll come back with a little bit of the old where that come from. Try to right the wrongs of this last segment and get things back on track. So, with that being said, gonna take a small break. might have to shit again, and then I'll come back with the old where that come from. So here we. All right, so do a little bit of the old where that come from. This one kind of going into, well, I guess in some ways the roots of like two different words, but all having to do with which hand you use. I myself, a bit of a switch hitter, heyo, but forever, like almost what seems to be almost all of human history, for at least 2,000 years, it seems, being left-handed was seen as kind of a curse. Like, it was just highly frowned upon. I mean, it was seen as like downright evil to be left-handed. And even like today, if you look, almost all products that are made for a single hand are right-handed. Actually, 90% of people in the world today are right-handed. So, at least, 9 out of 10 people are right-handed. So, anytime you have one group, anytime you have a massive percentage of the population doing one thing, they're always going to see the other percentage as being like something being wrong with them. Like, why wouldn't you be with us, the other 90%? Like, why would you be in this little group? And, now we just know that, like, your brain just favors, like, now we just know that at some point, like, your brain starts to favor one hand over the other, whether that's genetic or learned or whatever it may be. But, for thousands of years, it was seen as having a child who favored their left hand, that there was something evil about this child, like something cursed about this child. And it plays a part in religion. So like in Islam, part of like the Islamic faith is to never use like your left hand for human interaction, which is why if you go to a country that is a predominantly Islamic country and someone sticks out their left hand to give you a handshake, boy, they're pulling a fast one on you. Like in the Bible, it refers to, the left hand as being like kind of a sign of evil. In like satanic mythology, the devil would baptize people with his left hand instead of his right hand. And even like the worship of Satan and like the diving into the occult and black magic and all that is known as the left hand path. So you have the right hand path, which in the Bible refers to, heaven and glory and Jesus, and the left hand path, which is hell, Satan, the occult, all of that. But not even in just religion, like the ancient Romans. So while, religion is forming like Christianity, Islam, all these things, the ancient Romans saw the left hand, like saw left as being like a bad thing. So like the ancient Romans would sometimes use like a flock of birds as an omen. And if they were about to do something, looked up and saw a flock of birds flying to the left, that means this is a bad omen. We shouldn't do this. It even played parts in like war, like whether they were going to go to battle. Like if they were about to go to battle and birds were flying left, they're like, fuck it, we're not doing it. Like the left, for some reason, is just seen as being fucking evil. And kind of kicking into, or like keeping up with like the Roman side of it. In Latin, left, the word left in Latin is sinistra, which is where we get the word sinister. So sinister literally just comes from the Latin word for left, because anything to the left is fucking evil. Along those lines, the word dexterous in Latin means skilled and strong, durable, like dexterous, like ambidextrous, has dexterity, like all that comes from dexterous. Dexterous comes from the Latin word dexter, which means right. So sinister, left, dexterous, dexterity, right. So yeah, that's a little bit of the history of the old left-handed, cursed, evil stuff. So take a little break, and now we'll do a little bit of a half-ass history. All right, so first person we're going to talk about today is a woman who arguably one of the most famous women of the 20th century. Very revolutionary person. A name that is still very, very famous today, but had a dark side that is not really talked about that much. Person I'm referring to is Coco Chanel. So Coco Chanel became massively famous during World War One, like that, or that's whenever she really started to get a name for herself. Was in World War One. A little bit after that, Coco Chanel starts becoming friends with Winston Churchill. She ends up banging one of Churchill's friends. They kind of have like a little bit of a tryst together. Then in 1940, the Nazis take over Paris. This is kind of kick-starting into World War II. Obviously, it had begun the year before with the Nazi invasion of Poland. Nazi invasion of Poland in 1939. Then you have 1940, the Nazis take over Paris. Coco Chanel, her, empire is built out of Paris. So she starts to get worried, like, oh, fuck. Like, am I going to be screwed by this? Well, she ends up doing what she was very good at, which is kind of flirting her way into safety and success, and she starts banging a Nazi. The Nazi that she starts having an affair with is a fellow by the name of Baron Hans Gunther von Dinklage. So old Hans is a pretty high-ranking Nazi, and Coco Chanel and him start having a pretty big romantic connection. Well, now, part of what Coco Chanel is having this connection with him for is that, Coco Chanel's fully aware the Nazis are rounding up all of the Jewish people in Europe, including France, and sending them away, basically stripping them of any of their rights, any property, possessions, money, like taking everything from them and rounding them up, putting them in ghettos, and then eventually would send them to concentration camps. Well, part of what is included in the stripping of the Jewish people from what they own and what's rightfully theirs is taking away ownership of business. Well, where this becomes part of Coco Chanel's story is that Coco Chanel's perfume line, which very, very successful even back then, is backed by a family who happened to be Jewish. And because they're backing her perfume line, they get a share of the profits. They're putting up money, so they get a percentage, like any business owner would. Well, Coco Chanel decides to work her way in with this high-ranking Nazi that she's having sex with, and has that family stripped of any of their business rights and sent away. So, yeah, Coco Chanel is a real piece of shit. And then, so she ends up having full control over her perfume line. So she ends up becoming way more wealthy. Meanwhile, the Jewish family who had, helped raise up this business are now being sent away, into the ghettos. And then eventually, doesn't go too well for them. So then at this point, Coco Chanel is getting deeper and deeper in with the Nazis. And starts to become a spy for the Nazis. And eventually goes to Madrid to do basically to gather in business information. Like she's going there as a business representative to Madrid to gather information that could be useful to the Nazis and to Hitler's military forces. And she goes to Madrid to try to get this information. Ends up being kind of working, but not really. Then they say, okay, well, you were having sex with one of Winston Churchill's friends, so you already know Winston Churchill pretty well. How would you like to go try to spy on Winston Churchill? And she's like, all right. That ends up becoming a massive disaster. Needless to say, she is not able to gather any information from Winston Churchill, and that basically makes the Nazis be like, okay, fuck this woman. We are not wasting our time with her anymore. So Coco Chanel gets like kind of ousted by the Nazis and gets kind of gets brought up publicly that she has been working alongside the Nazis. Well, that doesn't look good for Coco Chanel, and she ends up being taken to court, to like French court. Somehow worms her way out of any kind of punishment. Jail time, business punishment. Like she has no monetary punishment. Like she walks away scot-free after working alongside the most evil group of human beings in the history of the world. And yeah, so worms her way out of it completely, and then basically spends, a good portion of the post-World War II time just paying people off to not ever mention the fact that she was not only sleeping with a high-ranking Nazi, but was working as a spy for Hitler's Nazi party. So yeah, there's a little bit of a story you may not know about Coco Chanel. Let's go ahead and move on to half-ass history topic number. All right, so next topic involves a person that, to me, one of the most fascinating people on the planet. And I don't know if everybody else feels that way or if anybody else feels that way, whatever. To me, it's just fascinating for whatever reason. Is the filmmaker / documentarian Werner Herzog. So, if you don't, going to tell what I think is a pretty fascinating story about Werner Herzog. If you don't know who Werner Herzog is, I would say he's probably most famous for making the documentary Grizzly Man, aka the digestion of Timothy Treadwell. And so Werner Herzog is the person making that documentary. He's the voice narrating it, like the death of Timothy Treadwell, like that voice you're hearing in the background the entire time. That is one of the most like haunting and relaxing voices at the same time. Which pretty much after I watched that movie, I spent about, I would say, 6 months trying to talk like Werner Herzog about everything that happened and just try to say it in his, weird German accent. But regardless, so Werner Herzog, fascinating person, kind of has a rap of being Werner Herzog has a bit of a reputation of being a little fiery. So Werner Herzog also made Nosferatu. He made a lot of movies with this fellow by the name of Klaus Kinski. Klaus Kinski, bit of a whack job as well. Not that Werner Herzog's a whack job, but like Werner Herzog is just kind of odd. Klaus Kinski was like legitimately insane. They were filming a movie in South America where at one point there was a plot by the people filming the movie to kill Klaus Kinski. Meanwhile, Klaus Kinski was going to kill Werner Herzog. Werner Herzog even fired like a warning shot over Klaus Kinski's head at one point. Yeah, interesting fella to say the least. There's also a story of Werner Herzog where he's doing an interview and somebody shoots at him and he like doesn't even flinch while everybody else ducks onto the ground. He just still sits there, like does not move while he's got shot at. Yeah. He's also a huge fan of wrestling, which is hilarious to me. If you ever watch an interview with Werner Herzog, for some reason Werner Herzog, you would never believe it, but Werner Herzog is a fan of wrestling and like an avid watcher of WrestleMania. Like the Macho Man Randy Savage. Like, yeah. Interesting fella, to say the least. Well, fast forward a little bit into Werner Herzog's life. After making these movies, this is actually, I think, the year after Grizzly Man came out. So Werner Herzog has become pretty well known. Like, that documentary put him, he's already a well-known person, but puts him even higher. So, in 2006, Werner Herzog is driving in Los Angeles and sees a car crash. And when the car crashes, the car flips. And Werner Herzog gets out, runs over to try to help the person that's in the car that has just crashed. Well, he sees the car flipped over, and inside the car is a person upside down trying to light a cigarette. And I guess like in a weird state of panic and is just trying to light a cigarette. Werner Herzog's looking around and sees gasoline everywhere. He's like, oh, that's not good. So he grabs the lighter out of the guy's hands, throws it. He's like, fuck, no. I got to get you out of here. Like, you are going to die. Werner Herzog pulls the guy out of the car, carries him away, rescues this guy, saves this guy's life. Well, the guy kind of like comes to and is more aware of what's going on, is looking around for the guy who saved him. Does not see him anywhere. Werner Herzog just rescued the guy and left. Didn't wait around, didn't say a word to the guy. Like, it's just like, nah, all right, I did what I'm supposed to do. I'm out of here. Well, the guy that Werner Herzog rescued from that car crash, the person that Werner Herzog, the guy that he saved his life, was the actor Joaquin Phoenix. So, yeah, pretty crazy story. Werner Herzog, a hero / I don't know, just an awesome human being, but like so weird. All right, so one more and then we'll kick it out of here. So let me go ahead and get the next one going and we will... Okay, so last one, and in keeping with the tradition of the past couple weeks, gonna tell another wacky-ass Steven Seagal story. So this one is the story of the Dalai Lama Steven Seagal. Which, if that sounds odd, yeah, it is. So, this is legitimately a story that was told by Steven Seagal. And I know that everybody thinks that I'm just making up these fucking stories about Steven Seagal. I'm not. He is making them up. Steven Seagal is making up stories about himself and telling them to other people. And so, yeah, I fucking hear about them and tell them because they're goddamn bananas. So here's this one. Holy shit. So, Steven Seagal claims that he is the reincarnation of a llama from the 1600s. He, according to Steven Seagal, he is one step lower than the actual Dalai Lama. That is what Steven Seagal claims. And you would be thinking to yourself, how is that possible? Like, how does Steven Seagal think that he is the reincarnation of a llama and that he is a step below the Dalai Lama? Well, so according to Steven Seagal, how he achieved this honor is that Steven Seagal was at a monastery. Why Steven Seagal was at a monastery, who knows? But apparently Steven Seagal was at a monastery, and a bunch of monks came in. A bunch of Buddhist monks came in who had been beaten and tortured by the Chinese. And I am going to read Steven Seagal's actual quote about this. Steven Seagal says, and I quote, "As I was the only one who had studied herbology, bone manipulation, and acupuncture, I treated them." So Steven Seagal not only is a master of a martial art that seems to be a whole lot of bullshit, but apparently he went to Hogwarts and studied studied herbology and a bunch of other like crazy wizarding medicines, and is able to just, with his magical hands, fix the human body like goddamn Mr. Miyagi. Like, Steven Seagal is able to just go and fix a bunch of tortured and beaten monks. And so apparently he did that. Apparently he healed all of these monks using his powers of herbology, bone manipulation, and acupuncture. And because he was able to heal and save the lives of all of these monks who had been beaten and tortured by the Chinese, they bestowed upon him the title of Lama Seagal. And from that moment on, according to Steven Seagal, he has been one step below the actual Dalai Lama. So, yeah. There's my Steven Seagal story for the week. I hope you enjoyed it. I did not make it up. Just have to make that a point. Boy. There's more of these. Trust me, this was not the last one. There's a few more. So I hope you're enjoying them as much as I do, because holy fuck, this dude is out of his mind. But all right, so that'll do it for this week. Stay tuned for the next episode next Tuesday. Jesus Christ, that scared the shit out of me. What a way to end it. Ay. I mean, actually pretty apropos considering how fucking terrible this goddamn podcast is. It really, I mean, why I'm even doing it, I don't know. I guess it gives me some sort of outlet. And I guess people seem to enjoy some of the videos, but it just all seems like it isn't good. Oh, well. So, yeah. Till next week. Have a good one. Be safe. And keep a wrinkle